You fund it. And you know what? And you can keep anything you want that you make out of this. Knock yourself out. All right? So we have to be careful. This freeze frame that we think nothing is going to change. There's actually some really good books and articles on this. One called The Rational Optimist. The Rational Optimist by, and this is on the website by Matt Ridley. It says, you know what? We really shouldn't worry so much about the deficit. We really shouldn't worry about spending, because he believes that so much wealth can and will be created in the next 30 years, it is actually going to take care of itself. It's a tough thing to swallow, believe me, because I want to reduce the size of the government, right? But he makes a rational argument that you got to go, huh, right? So with economics, all I'm saying is, please, just think with me, not like me, right? And question. What is the other side? What is the thing you're not seeing? All right, last slide, and then I'll show you a quick clip to bring us out here, and then we'll take any questions or wrap up. The lessons from the chain game, I think you got all of these. Subjectivity, value is in the eyes of the beholder. Free trade creates value, it's win-win. The rule of law, the game works, why? Because we set up the rules ahead of time and we agreed. That's why. We all, and when I violated the rules at the end, you got ticked at me. Right? Scarcity. Scarcity is a factor, but it alone does not create value. See, part of the Marxist fallacy was by Karl Marx in the labor theory of value, the lump of coal found behind the diamond should be more valuable because it took more labor to get to. Marx could not explain this. In fact, his followers began to distance himself from that theory because of that exact example that the Austrians passed off. So they came up with this whole thing of scarcity, which we actually kind of buy into a little. The supply and demand stuff is scarce. Something scarce has value, not necessarily. My son Sean, beautiful kid, right, Christy? You know, did this wonderful picture on his first day of kindergarten, 2 weeks ago. It's a Sean Kless original. Anybody want to buy it from me for $1 million? Now, if the house is burning down tonight and I get my wife and kids out, am I going to grab the picture as I'm going by the refrigerator? Why? Because it's got value to me. Value is subjective, and it's not based on scarcity. Right? Opportunity costs. There are trade-offs. This, if I can impress one thing, there are not solutions. There are not solutions to all of these complex problems that we're dealing with in the world. There are not solutions. There are trade-offs. There's not a solution to the crisis we're in. There's not. Because all of our stuff, the things that we want to put in place, will have some adverse effect on other people, right? We can argue for the morality of it, however you want. But the point is there are trade-offs. There are trade-offs. The more the merrier, the more trading partners, the more value went up, right? Right? Okay? And then lastly, this trade deficit. People trade, not governments. People trade, not governments. Okay? Do I have a few more minutes? 8:40? Can I play the video?
Yeah. 2 minutes?
All right, it's like a 3 or 4 minute video.
Sure.
All right. So this. If you want to look this up, this is great. This is Milton Friedman, right? Milton Friedman on the Donahue Show. Remember Phil? Before there was Oprah, there was Donahue. There was Phil. And this is Milton Friedman appeared on this, and one of the resources I've given you on the website is this thing called Free to Choose. Anybody see this? You've got to go watch this. It's 10 hour-long episodes on Milton Friedman stuff that he did in 1980. It is fantastic. It is understandable and digestible, even for those of us who have not studied this stuff. And I haven't. I'm an amateur economist. Okay, so here's Milton Friedman. Oh, you lost it. That was okay. On greed.
When you see around the globe the maldistribution of wealth, the desperate plight of millions of people in underdeveloped countries, when you see so few haves and so many have-nots, when you see the greed and the concentration of power with it, did you ever have a moment of doubt about capitalism and whether greed's a good idea to run on?
Well, first of all, tell me, is there some society you know that doesn't run on greed? You think Russia doesn't run on greed? You think China doesn't run on greed? What is greed? Of course, none of us are greedy. It's only the other fellow who's greedy. The world runs on individuals pursuing their separate interests. The great achievements of civilization have not come from government bureaus. Einstein didn't construct his theory under order from a bureaucrat. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize the automobile industry that way. In the only cases in which the masses have escaped from the kind of grinding poverty you're talking about, the only cases in recorded history are where they have had capitalism and largely free trade. If you want to know where the masses are worst off, it's exactly in the kinds of societies that depart from that. So that the record of history is absolutely crystal clear that there is no alternative way so far discovered of improving the lot of the ordinary people that can hold a candle to the productive activities that are unleashed by free enterprise.
But it seems to reward not virtue as much as ability to manipulate the system.
And what does reward virtue? You think the communist commissar rewards virtue? You think a Hitler rewards virtue? You think, excuse me, if you'll pardon me, do you think American presidents reward virtue? Do they choose their appointees on the basis of the virtue of the people appointed or on the basis of their political clout? Is it really true that political self-interest is nobler somehow than economic self-interest? You know, I think you're taking a lot of things for granted. And just tell me where in the world you find these angels who are going to organize society for us. Well, I don't even trust you to do that.